You say you want to be rich, but how do your mornings begin? Is it with clarity, with purpose, with a fire lit in your soul the moment your eyes open? Or is it with doubt, hesitation, that subtle drag in your spirit that whispers, maybe later? Napoleon Hill once said, "There is a difference between wishing for a thing and being ready to receive it, and your readiness begins the second your feet hit the floor." You are not poor because of lack of money. You are poor because of the lack of organized thought, the lack of deliberate motion, the absence of a routine built around power. This is where the 5-minute morning ritual comes in, a method based not in mysticism, not in magic, but in the cold, unshakable logic of Hill's 25 years of research with the wealthiest minds of the 20th century. And if you think 5 minutes isn't enough to turn your life around, then you still haven't understood the true power of a single, well-directed idea. Let's begin. First minute, the wake up decision. When you wake up, don't touch your phone. Don't reach for the chaos, reach for control. You have 10 seconds to decide what kind of day you'll create. Use them. Close your eyes, sit up straight in bed, and declare your definite chief is the language Hill used. Not wish, not hope. A definite chief aim. Say it aloud. I am committed to achieving insert goal. By hey, insert date. And I will do whatever it takes every single day until it is mine. You must hear your voice declare your intention. You must command your subconscious like a general at war, not plead with it like a beggar on a corner. Why? Because thoughts backed by purpose have become physical things. This is not poetry. This is philosophy forged in the furnace of real results. And the question is, what happens when your mind hears you commit with that kind of certainty? What happens to your energy, to your posture, to your sense of identity? Second minute, the faith formula next. Sit silently, close your eyes again, and see your goal is already achieved. Visualize the numbers in your bank account, the keys in your hand, the contract signed, the crowd applauding. This is not pretending. This is programming. Hill wrote, "Faith is a state of mind which may be induced by auto-suggestion, so you must see the future and speak it into the now. And when doubt tries to creep in, and it will, remember, doubt is just fear dressed in logic. Let it pass. You are in charge now. Ask yourself, what does it feel like to have already achieved what I desire? Let the answer flood your body. That emotion is now your fuel. And here's the thing, most people wait for evidence to feel success. You will create the feeling and let the evidence chase you. Third minute, the self-talk loop. Stand up, get in front of a mirror. Look yourself dead in the eye, not with pride, with hunger. Say the following affirmation, word for word. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. I think only thoughts that serve me. I act only in ways that move me closer to my goal. My success is inevitable because my belief is unshakable. Repeat it 3 times with your chest lifted, your jaw set, your voice unwavering. This isn't just talk. This is installation. Every word is a brick, and you're building a mindset that cannot be shaken. Here's a question to hold in your chest right now. What happens when your belief becomes louder than your excuses? What if today is the first day your mind fully surrenders to your mission? Fourth minute, the mastermind setup. Pull out your phone, but not to scroll. Send one message. One message to a person in your circle who is building something powerful like you. A mastermind connection. You say, what's one win you're going after this week? Let's hold each other to it. That's it. Why? Because Hill said, no mind is complete by itself. It needs contact and association with other minds to grow and expand. You can't build an empire in isolation, and you won't rise by being the smartest person in your inbox. The richest minds build ladders with others. Each rung is a conversation. Each step is a shared belief in something greater. So ask yourself, who around you deserves your attention, and who's been stealing it? When you send that message, you're not just starting a chat. You're casting a vote for your future. Fifth minute, the action trigger finally. Take one action, just one, but make it bold. Send that proposal, publish that post, make that sales call, apply for that opportunity. Don't wait for perfect. Take the step while your mind is still on fire from the last 4 minutes. Hill said, you are the master of your destiny. You can influence, direct, and control your own environment. You can make your life what you want it to be, but only if you act. Action is the oxygen of achievement. So ask yourself and be honest. What single action have I been delaying that would pull me out of orbit and onto my true path? Now, do it, even if it's imperfect, especially if it's imperfect. Let your movement be the proof of your belief. And if right now something in you stirred, even just a little, I want you to write one thing in the comments. I will not negotiate with fear. Say it so your future self knows you've already begun. Say it so others in the comments see they're not alone in this fight. And if you felt the weight of that morning routine, if you felt the pulse of possibility waking up inside you, then comment now. More than that, share your definite chief aim below, name it, declare it. Commit to it in front of others who will hold you high. Because you are not alone, you are not lost, you are not late. You're just one morning away from your breakthrough. You've just claimed your morning. That wasn't a routine, that was a ritual. And rituals don't end when the clock hits 5 minutes. They echo, they ripple. They plant roots so deep, even your fears start to lose their grip. But here's what most won't tell you. Your morning doesn't shape your day. It declares your identity. And now that you've declared, the world is listening. The question is, will your next step align with the version of you that just stood in the mirror and spoke with fire? Or will it betray them? Let's go deeper. Because if Hill taught us anything, it's this: clarity without repetition is a spark without fuel, and a fire left unattended goes cold. So how do you keep the flame alive beyond those first 5 minutes? Start with this: own your language. The moment your day begins, texts, emails, interruptions, you'll notice something: the world wants your mind back. It wants to fill it with fear, distraction, noise. You must resist. You must protect your mind like sacred ground. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Every man is what he is because of the dominating thoughts which he permits to occupy his mind." So stop speaking in defeat with "I will." Replace "I'll try" with "it's done." Replace "someday" with "by this date." Or your tongue is a sword or a shovel. You either cut through limitation or you bury yourself in it. Ask yourself, what words have I allowed to shape my identity this week? And more importantly, who around me speaks the language of limitation? Next, audit your associations. Hill devoted an entire chapter to the power of the mastermind. He said, "No individual may have great power without availing himself of the mastermind." Here's the truth. Your network is your mirror. Look closely, and you'll see your future staring back at you. So every day, after that 5-minute ignition, you ask, who am I talking to? What energy am I receiving? Whose thoughts are I letting rent space in my mind? It takes courage to confront this, to admit that some conversations are costing you your dreams, that some friendships feel like loyalty but taste like poison. If you're serious about success, you must prune your environment like a garden, ruthlessly, lovingly, with vision, because weeds don't ask permission. They grow where discipline is missing. Now let's hit what Hill called organized planning. Clarity without execution is fantasy. So after your ritual, take 2 minutes, only 2, and write down 3 things. What is one thing I must do today that scares me? What's one needle-moving activity that aligns with my definite chief aim? Who do I need to become to do both of those things without hesitation? This is how you transmute vision into victory. And here's the trap to avoid: don't fill your list with business. That's the addiction of the uncommitted. You don't need 20 tasks, you need one mission. Done with precision, done with power. Hill warned us. Procrastination is the bad habit of putting off until the day after tomorrow what should have been done the day before yesterday. But every delay is a vote for the version of you who never escaped average. Ask yourself right now, if I repeated today 90 times, would it produce the life I say I want? And then there's this: emotional conditioning. Most routines ignore it. Hill built around it. Why? Because emotion is the lever that turns thought into motion. After your routine, fuel your state. Music, movement, cold shower. A 3-minute video that reminds you who you are. A clip of your future dream life on loop. Whatever you need to stir the beast. Remember, logic may convince the mind, but only emotion moves the body. And without motion, you're not growing. You're stagnating. So the question is, what makes your blood boil with belief? Fine, use it. Repeat it daily. Do not let your drive come from the outside world. It is not theirs to give, and it is not theirs to take. Now here's the secret weapon. Daily defiance every day. Do one thing that proves you're no longer who you used to be. It could be sending that bold email, raising your prices, saying no to an energy drainer, asking the scary question, admitting you're afraid, and doing it anyway. You see, financial success isn't just math. It's muscle. And you must train your nervous system to get comfortable with discomfort. Hill said, "The starting point of all achievement is desire. Keep this constantly in mind. Weak desire brings weak results, just as a small fire makes a small amount of heat. You say you desire change, but will your behavior verify it? Here's a truth most don't want to admit: a poor man can think rich, but if he continues to act poor, no amount of affirmations will save him. Action is the only sermon life listens to. So tell me, what is one bold act you will take before today ends that would make the man or woman in the mirror proud? Write it. Declare it. Own it in the comments right now with this phrase: my action proves my belief. Yes, type that. Because belief without movement is delusion in disguise. And you don't need another book, another video, another motivational high. What you need is to move today with defiance, with hunger, with relentless certainty. What's the next risk you've been avoiding? What's the next leap your future self is already clapping for? Don't wait for life to make it easy. Hill studied 500 of the richest minds in history, and not one of them waited for comfort. They acted, they fell, they bled, and then they rose again and again until the world had no choice but to call them successful. So, what will the world call you? This morning, that 5-minute ritual lit the match. Now it's your turn to keep the fire. You started with fire. You built with force. Now comes the hardest part, you sustain. Because the world will not clap when you wake up early. It won't cheer when you recite affirmations. No one is watching when you stand in front of the mirror declaring war on mediocrity. But the invisible doesn't stay invisible forever. That 5-minute ritual, it's not about motivation, it's about transformation, the kind that starts quietly and ends undeniable. Hill said, "Tell the world what you intend to do, but first show it." Now it's time to show it every single day. So here's what few people ever tell you: success doesn't come from adding more. It comes from subtracting what no longer belongs. You've programmed your mind. You've set your aim. Now it's time to cut what doesn't serve the mission. Start with this: cut the noise, the news cycle, the negative friends, the mental clutter that tells you you're not enough. That voice, it's not yours. You inherited it. Maybe from school, maybe from a parent, maybe from years of failure that tried to tattoo itself into your identity. But today that ends. I do not take advice from people I wouldn't trade lives with. Most are broke, not in money, but in spirit, in belief, in courage. You don't owe your energy to those who can't carry their own. So what conversations must end? What apps must be deleted? What habits must be buried for your next life to begin? Hill said, "The ladder of success is never crowded at the top." Because few are willing to climb without distraction, are you? Then cut the excuses. You're not too late. You're not too old. You're not too tired. You're undisciplined. You're unfocused. You've been lying to yourself in a kind voice. Excuses are soft poison. They don't kill you quickly. They just keep you small, long enough to forget you were ever big. Your 5-minute morning ritual is meant to burn away those lies. Because here's the brutal truth: your excuses will take everything from you and hand you nothing but regret in return. That's the real tax of delay, and no refund is coming. Cut the someday mentality. There is no perfect time, only perfect intention. And if you're waiting for the world to align, you'll die aligned in the exact spot you started. Someday is a thief. It steals from the now and hands it to a tomorrow that never comes. So take a breath. Picture that version of you, rich, free, commanding your life with authority. Living with peace, not because life is easy, but because you are clear. Now realize this: that version of you isn't in the future. They're waiting inside you, buried beneath hesitation. Dig, and when you reach them, bring them out in how you walk, how you speak, how you move. Because success doesn't arrive. You become it. Now anchor the ritual. You've done the 5-minute morning practice. But if you don't tie it to identity, it becomes just another thing you tried. So you must anchor it with one question: who am I now that I do this daily? Not, what do I get from it? That's surface. Ask, who am I becoming because of this? Am I a builder, a closer, a creator, a force that cannot be denied? This is how you weaponize routine into identity. And identity is bulletproof, because when you are the thing, you don't need to try. You act in alignment, without delay, without debate, just like Hill said. You may be hurt if you love too much, but you will live in misery if you love too little, especially when it comes to your own future. So fall in love with the version of you that scares your doubt into silence. And finally, pass it forward. There is no legacy in keeping power to yourself. That mastermind message you sent earlier, make it a habit. Make it a movement. Build a small circle of assassins, people who will not let you quit, people who demand your best, people who text you not with memes but with momentum. Your circle is your castle. Guard it with your vision. Sharpen it with your values. Every morning after your ritual, reach out to one person and lift them. This is how wealth multiplies, first in belief, then in collaboration, then in impact. You don't need millions of followers. You need 3 lions who will hunt with you. Start today. Now, if your heart is beating faster, if your chest is tight with that quiet thunder, "I'm ready," then prove it. In the comments, I want you to write, "This is my turning point," that line. Nothing more, nothing less, because you will look back one day and realize this was the moment you stopped waiting. This was the day your power turned real. And to the quiet part of you that still doubts, that still whispers, "But what if I fail again?" You already have, and yet you're still here. That is proof. Now choose differently, and remember, the world does not respond to intentions. It responds to decisions. So decide. Become the person who doesn't just read Napoleon Hill. Become the person who proves him right now. Right here, one morning at a time.